Hey, this week we're talking about Harold Von Braunhut, who is an advertiser in the 50s and 60s who sold sea monkeys. You might have heard of these. They were just basically tiny little shrimp that they sold through magazine articles, and then kids were like, what do you mean they can't dance? What do you mean they can't play baseball? Because it was easy to take advantage of children back then.
I don't know if that's how you want to say that.
That's how I want to intro the episode.
Okay. It's March 18th. What do you got going on?
It's which day is it?
March 18th.
Yeah, this weekend I'll be in Ashland, Kentucky on March 22nd. Would love to see you there. And if you're like, where's Ashland, Kentucky? I asked as well. So Google it. You'll find it. It's out there. And then this June, we're running the church comedy tour back. Those dates will be available soon. Check all my dates out on my website, jaronmyers.com/shows.
Hey, man.
What's going on?
Have you ever heard of Harold Von Braunhut?
Harold Von Braunhut?
Yeah. No?
Yes.
Have you ever heard of...
It's a hot dog hut that's on a... That's the Harold Von Braunhut. Yeah, that's where you can get their good wet dogs. Wet hot dogs. Just... It's like what they're known for. You know?
Gross. I saw...
What do you want, a dry hot dog? No. Think about it. Think about it.
I mean, yeah.
You don't want a dry hot dog.
Put it on the grill, you get it nice,
you want one that's
nice and crispy.
And a little wet.
I mean, you want it moist. You want it just scotch
Not moist.
But you don't want it wet.
All right.
Have you seen this? Have you seen this? Have you seen...
That's a damp dog.
What was the video? Yeah, we don't have to talk about TikToks on here. Have you ever heard of brine shrimp?
Brine shrimp?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Harold Von Braunhut. Braunhut.
Yeah.
Von Braunhut.
Von Braunhut.
And brine shrimp.
Brine shrimp.
Okay, go
brine
ahead.
Shrimp. Does that mean anything to you?
Are you saying Brian shrimp?
Brine.
Oh, that's right.
Not Brian. Brine. B-R-I-N-E.
I was like, yeah, brine shrimp.
Brine
and then you were like, Brian shrimp.
Did you bring me a gift today?
Yeah, open it. Open it.
Okay, no, I got you a gift. This is... Here's the deal.
The thing that you were nervous about? You were like, I don't know how this is going to play?
Yeah. So this is Jaron's birthday. I mean, Jaron's birthday, by the time you're watching this, is weeks ago.
Long gone.
Yeah. It actually, today,
it might be my next birthday.
It's actually late
by
now.
By the time you listen to this, it's my next birthday.
Here's a company culture thing we do here is we're late for birthdays. That's our company culture.
Sure.
But I got this for you for your next tour.
Okay.
This is either going to be something that's going to be so clutch.
I practiced.
Or you're going to hate it so much.
And I practiced all last night where I go, oh my gosh, this is awesome.
Yeah. And here's the deal. If you like it, if your reaction's good, then we're sponsored.
Okay. And if it's not, then someone comes in and shoots one of us and they didn't tell you who, and you didn't tell them who. You were like, just come in and shoot one person in the room. Alex isn't free and clear.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to look what this is.
There's a couple of things in here, actually. This is a multi-gift. But one of them's a gift. The other one is more of just like, I wanted you to see this.
Is this the thing that you were like, now hold on.
Try it on. Open it up. Try it on. This is the rehearsed reaction. That's a rehearsed reaction. Try it on. Try it on.
Buddy. When I tell people that you're my best friend, I'm going to quit saying that. Do I?
Close. That's really close. That's upside down, I think.
Is it? I don't know. Yeah, you're right. Oh, wait, hold on. Here's the problem, though. Wait,
does it work? Does it fit?
Yeah, I'm nervous.
I'm not going to lie. I actually looked up Odd Job hats dimensions when I looked this up to make sure it would fit. It looks kind of nice. I'm not going to lie.
That's pretty sick.
Does it work? Can you see anything?
I can't see a thing.
Is it like pitch black?
Yeah.
Is it comfortable in your eyes?
But here's the... Okay. It comes with like a travel bag and everything?
Yeah.
Sorry, let me try this again.
Okay.
Wow. An avocado. All right. This is great. That actually is pretty clutch. It's going to be really good when I go on tour.
I feel like that's a rehearsed
beginning of June, which you can come to. My shows are on my website.
Okay, there's another thing in there. This is not a gift. This is something the business paid for.
Oh, is this business cards?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
This is a better gift
than
what you got me.
Perfect. Don't thank me, thank the business.
Oh, wait, you got the...
Yeah, I got them embossed. We don't spare any expense around here.
Wow.
Yeah, those are clutch. Anyways, hold that up the screen so everyone can see your phone number.
Solar Flare Media. And then... I gotta be honest, man. We should have. A lot of our clients are old. We should have made the text bigger.
Bigger? You think it's too small?
No, I think it's normal. It's fine. But I think that
that's okay. That's what they make reading glasses for.
Yeah, actually, those are pretty sick.
Those came out pretty clutch.
Really nice.
Yeah, you should put on your sleep mask and see if you can still read it.
So anyway, Harry Von Braunburger or something.
It's Harold Von Braunhut.
Harold Von Braunburger.
Harold Von Braunhut. Harold Von Braunhut.
Oh, it came with a sticker though. Actually,
are you gonna use the sticker? Get out of here. So, are we sponsored? Should I call them?
Actually, it did work. It did. I mean, I was really. Is that like the triple XL version of that?
No, actually, it wasn't one of their Super XLs.
It did work.
I looked at the dimensions.
I love that you went to just Ross Dress for Less. You went to their little cheap travel section. You were like, found the first thing, and then you were like, you know what?
No, actually, you want to know. You want to know how I know about them?
I flew Tim to Los Angeles. I flew him out. I paid for his flight. We went to see our favorite comedian.
Okay, you want to
in a very intimate venue that was probably the size of this office. It was an incredible, most memorable night. Yeah. Probably one of my favorite nights. And then it
was a great gift.
And I got an eye mask. So,
I mean, that's $1,000 eye mask.
Yeah.
But you want to know how I know about them?
How do you know about them?
There is an insane amount of ASMR creators who are sponsored by them.
Oh, yeah?
And they're like, I want to tell you about today's sponsor.
So did you
buy
it in the hopes that we could get them to sponsor us?
No. But really I didn't think of it until this moment.
Did you put it on?
So if you like it, no, I didn't put it on.
It was opened.
Was it?
I don't know. Felt like
maybe it was returned.
You didn't open it?
I did not open it.
You didn't put it on?
I did.
Do you have one yourself?
Now that you're saying it,
it actually did work. Like it's straight up pitch black, which is pretty sick.
That is.
I will use that on some flights.
Okay, so it was a good gift.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
It's a good gift. I'm giving you crap for it for sure. Yeah.
Well, here's the deal. I've gotten some stinkers before. I recognize that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'll probably get some stinkers again.
Of course, we got a long time.
I asked my counselor. My counselor was like, next time we come in, I want to talk about why you think you're a bad friend.
Did your counselor say that?
Yes, she did.
And you were over here, and she was wearing the mask that you got her. And so she was like, the next time you come in, I kind of want to talk about your whole vibe.
Your whole vibe. Not even like, just like your weird vibe.
It's a weird thing like you got going on. You kind of got
a really weird vibe going.
All right. It is a good gift. I'll wear it for sure.
Okay. Anyways,
I was worried that it was going to be too tight when I first opened it.
Yeah, that's why I Googled odd job hats.
Yeah.
Bring it up naturally. Okay, so Braunhut. What do you want to know about him?
Well, let's start with, is he a shrimp fisher?
In a way, like
shrimp
in a sense,
fisher?
I guess you could say technically yes.
Okay.
In a way. Here, we'll start with this. He was born in Memphis, Tennessee, in the shadow of the pyramid. Actually, he was probably born pre-pyramid. Do you know when the pyramid was built?
I don't think anyone does. I think it's the whole mystery of it. I think that's the whole thing. I do know that the pyramid is just the top, and the rest of it's deep underneath. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's like the Washington Monument.
Yeah.
But it's all yeah. It was it wasn't built until 1991 is when it opened. Groundbreaking started in 1989. So he was way pre-pyramid.
Yeah.
So I wonder. Never mind. So yeah, he was born in 1926 in Memphis, Tennessee. So he was like early Memphis. I mean, I guess mid Memphis.
Here's the thing that's so annoying is that 30 minutes from now, Tim's going to be like, we got a lot to get to. You know what I'm saying? But he had to give me a gift at the top.
Yeah, which was a sponsored segment.
We should try to get sponsored by Vistaprint.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we get sponsored by both of them for this, actually. Let's send them
order
clips.
25 of these cards?
Yeah.
Just in case we go out of business?
No, I think I did 250, I think is the number I did.
These are pretty sick.
They are pretty slick. Anyways, put those away. Put that away. Put that away. Put that away. We got a lot to get to.
All right.
No, okay, so his dad went by the name
Tobias. Okay, dude, so on the way here, bro, on the way here, I stopped and got my car.
Yeah.
And the freaking...
Because Jaron leaves his car in a storage.
Kansas City police have surrounded a hotel up north.
Yeah.
And the SWAT team is out.
Which is interesting because that's not SWAT team area. I wouldn't expect the SWAT team
Northland
area. Yeah.
It's right next to that Waffle House.
Yeah, there's portions of it where it's like I could see police activity.
Oh, for sure.
But
Nothing
SWAT
up
team?
north. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like they had the long guns out. Like I think this is a
I love that you're calling them
situation.
long guns.
Well, they did. They had a rifle. They had a
You're just like long guns.
No.
They got the long guns.
No. I meant like they had like they had rifles. They had someone stationed across the street.
Yeah, like with like a sniper.
With a sniper. Yes.
Yeah.
And
the long.
Yeah.
Thanks. I'm tracking.
Long gun for stupids encompasses not only the assault rifles that they may carry on their persons, but also the sniper rifles that they may make the long shot with. So I'm saying that the SWAT team was out, and I can't find anything on the news about it.
Yeah,
and so I think we should leave right now.
Did you ask him?
No, I think we should leave right now and go investigative journalism.
Do the rest of our episode there.
Yeah, we're on the scene.
We're on the scene at the SWAT thing. Anyway, I'm gonna keep telling you about
this guy
Harold
pretended
Von
to be a
Braunhut.
shrimp.
We dress up like
Try
shrimp.
to be a
We dress up like shrimp and go out at the hostage situation.
This guy was a brine shrimp mascot who murdered 4 people
in a Kansas City hotel, and that's
Kansas
why
City Metro.
That's why we're.
What happened? I got excited because I saw the SWAT team today.
So his dad or his grandpa Tobias Cohn was
strong name, like it.
Yeah, he was the head of the T. Cone Superior Toy Company.
Okay.
Made toys. Started that company in 1900. 1968 went bankrupt, got bought by another toy company. Here's the thing. That's relatively important because it kind of like he has this toy legacy. His grandpa, making the toys. Like he just kind of like looked at because that moment where you're like, man, my dad's a loser.
I don't know that moment.
No. You know that moment where you're like,
you're saying you know that moment?
No, I'm saying you get to high school and you're like, oh man, I hate my parents. Like they're bad at everything. You know that?
I don't have that.
Yes,
I never had that.
Yes, you did. You didn't have a rebellious phase?
Just you, man.
Shut up. Everybody has that rebellious phase where they're like, I know so much more than my parents. They don't know anything.
No, I've always been
I'm better than them.
Parents, dude.
You've always been what?
Humble toward my parents.
Oh my gosh, you liar. Anyways, so he hit his rebellious stage.
That's why they support me on Patreon.
He
was just such a good kid. We never worried we were going to be in a documentary or anything like that. Like, you think about that? How they force the parents of these kids who have done this bad stuff be in these documentaries, man. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is pretty wild. I mean, they could say no.
Well, the fact that they don't is probably the reason their kid did the weird stuff.
Thing. Yeah, you're right.
Anyway.
So he looked up to his grandpa's what I'm trying to say. He looked up to his grandpa's toy company. He was like, it's kind of cool that you sold toys. And so he grows up and, kind of doing the business thing, doing life, like trying to get into just different businesses. He was kind of like an early serial entrepreneur, looking at all of the different opportunities. And then he kind of had like a moment where he was at a bait and tackle shop, regular day fishing, and he noticed the brine shrimp. And he knew something about the brine shrimp, which I don't know if you know this about brine shrimp. How much do you know about?
I don't know enough. Go ahead.
So brine shrimp.
Is this an episode where you need me to vamp, or do you need to get to the topic?
I know I'm going
because it feels like you're trying to waste time.
I'm not trying to waste time. I'm just here. Okay, so here's the brine shrimp.
Yeah,
brine shrimp are tiny, 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 tiny shrimp. Like this is a very microscopic photo. They're very small, little speck shrimps,
shrimp.
Which I guess you can use as bait. I don't know. Maybe you use the eggs.
Yeah, they're
bait.
not what you eat at a restaurant.
No, absolutely not. They're little. They're little tiny shrimpies.
Right.
Hey, if you've been watching for a minute and you like this show, a great way to help out is by becoming a Patreon supporters. Our patrons get a ton of perks for their support. They get ad-free episodes a week early. They get a Discord with our hosts and producers. We do monthly hangouts. There's a way to get birthday messages on your birthday. There's a lot of great perks, but more than anything, you just help make sure that this show continues to happen forever. We never want to stop. We're going to keep doing this forever. If we have enough patron supporters, we can put our brains in those little vats and have AI pretend it's us. And so we can keep doing it long after we die. But that only happens if you support us on Patreon. So we appreciate your support. Thanks for your help. If you don't want to support, that's totally fine. Thanks for being here. We really appreciate you watching this show. Well, they have a very special, I don't know if you call it skill. Skill's definitely not the right word. Maybe quirk of their biology is maybe a better term for this.
Okay.
But they have this weird ability where and it's designed for if they are in a lake, like a freshwater lake or something, and the lake dries up, then they will turn into this egg type substance, and they can just survive almost indefinitely in that until the water comes back. And so it's like a defense mechanism, I guess, to keep them alive. And he said, I can exploit this. And so he said, if I take a bunch of these little brine shrimp and I breed them and I take them out of their water and I put them in a little packet, like a little sugar packet.
Yeah.
Then
he made boba tea. That's what that is, right? You're talking about boba?
Close. He said if I take them, put them in a little packet, then you could later add them to water, and then they would hatch into sea monkeys. This is the guy who came up with the sea monkeys. Which, do you remember sea monkeys?
No, my parents didn't.
Did you ever
the animal kingdom like that?
Oh my gosh! Did you knew about the sea monkeys though, right?
What's that?
You know about sea monkeys though, right?
Sea monkeys.
Sometimes I can't stand you. Sometimes.
Yeah, it's a little pack where you put them in water and suddenly they're alive.
Yeah, it was like a little.
Yeah, I know what sea monkeys are.
It was a little jar you could buy on. I guess this was pre-internet, so I guess from a magazine. And so this jar, what you would do is you would get the jar, you'd fill your jar with water, you'd dump this packet in, and so this packet was the water purifier. You dump the water purifier in and it would purify your water. You had to let that sit for 24 hours. And the next day you had your eggs and you would dump the eggs in. When you dump the eggs in, then they would hatch once they hit the water into brine shrimp, but they were advertised as sea monkeys. He just called them sea monkeys. And
they can even be trained.
What's interesting about them is this guy... What I will say, just judging by the look of him, here is the guy.
Yeah. What year is this again?
Oh gosh, like the 30s and 40s.
Okay.
Or I guess he was born in 25, so he probably started doing this
in the 40s.
Yeah, in the 40s.
40s or 50s.
Yeah. So this obviously isn't much. Even if you look at some of their more extravagant versions of this, where he's got a pirate ship and all this stuff. It's just kind of glorified fish. Not even fish. They're just tiny little itsy bitsy creatures.
Sure.
But what he did really well was advertising.
Yeah.
And so he came up with this brand of sea monkeys and sold them as if you could do tricks and you could teach them stuff. And he sold different sets for it. So he sold a set where it was the dancing set. And so it was it was supposed to resemble a stage, and you're supposed to be able to teach them how to dance.
Right.
And then there was the baseball diamond, and it looked like a baseball field, and they're supposed to be able to play baseball. So it's all just like gimmicky things like that.
Sure.
Obviously, they're little shrimpies. They can't do anything. But he was like, I'm selling to kids. They don't know that.
Yeah.
He referenced when he was a kid, and he was at the fair, and he saw the flea thing. Remember when they used to do that?
I remember.
Trapeze fleas? The trap fleas?
We
trap
remember
fleas?
that. You remember that from our childhood. Yeah.
You don't remember trap fleas?
Tim, I said, yeah, keep going. What are you wanting from me right now?
Okay.
I don't know. Do you understand? Like, Alex, you see I'm crazy. Like, I feel insane today where Tim's just like, he's telling different sets and stuff. And you remember trapeze fleas? Trapeze fleas? You remember trapeze? You remember that? Do you remember that? Yeah, buddy, I know what you're talking about. Okay. All right. Where is this episode going, bro?
So his whole thing was he's essentially selling fish food is what it is. It's a brine shrimp, but it's fish food.
Yeah.
And he said, okay, if I tell them put tap water in one of these little jars.
Yeah.
You dump the solution in that's supposed to make the water clean, and then you dump the eggs in. Here's the deal. It was a lie. What you were doing is you were dumping the eggs in first, and then the next day you were just putting salt in because he's like, well, it's going to take like 24 hours from when start hatching. And so he was like, you're going to purify the water, but you're putting the eggs in and letting them sit overnight so they can hatch, and then you're going to put some salt in. And so he sold these for $1.25.
Okay.
And he called a bunch of comic book manufacturers, comic book printers.
Sure.
And
Publishers.
Thank you. And he started putting these ads in comic books.
Yeah.
And this was something that no one was doing. No one was putting ads in comic books because it was kind of like, I don't want to say like taboo, but everyone's like, why would you advertise to children? What's the point of that? And so he's like, oh, I'm selling to kids. I should advertise to kids. And so it was $1.25. And what you would do is you would cut out this little thing, put it in an envelope with your $1.25.
Yeah, because people back then didn't understand the power of how you could get a kid to annoy their parent into buying your product.
Yeah, no one knew how easy it was to get kids to get their parents to do stuff.
Yeah.
They hadn't figured that out yet. As a former kids pastor, it's easy. That was
super easy.
The number one thing we did was teach kids to annoy their parents.
Yeah.
We actually would. Here's some inside baseball. We would, for like big events where we wanted like increased attendance to have people at, we would plan special things for the kids to get the kids really excited about it, because we knew if the kids convinced their parents, the parents would get like drug along. And so we're tricking the parents through their kids, which is the same thing these guys are doing.
You weren't tricking the parents. You were just telling the kids, you're like, guys, we're going to have pizza next week. And then the kids are like, we got to go because we're going to have pizza next week. Instead of presenting them the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, because the kids don't care about the gospel. They want pizza.
The kids don't care about the gospel. That's going on a t-shirt. The kids don't care about the gospel.
The kids will never care about the gospel until it tastes like pizza. So he started advertising in these comic books, and it was at the height of his operation.
Yeah,
he was printing ads in 3.2 million comic books a year, and so it became a thing where everybody knew about the sea monkeys. Not everybody got them, but at least everyone knew about them because it was inescapable. It was in every comic book you would ever get, and so throughout like into the 80s, it was just sea monkeys are everywhere. And so he became a millionaire.
How many ASMR creators do you follow?
I don't follow a single one.
That you got numerous ads for this eye mask.
Okay, first of all, I don't follow.
Because when you're saying this, I was like, yeah, but I wonder how many people have seen ads about this eye mask. And then I go, I've never seen ads because I don't watch ASMR videos.
Speaking of ads, we'll come back to this. But speaking of ads,
you're trying to get away from the fact that you watch ASMR videos.
First of all, I don't watch, I listen to.
Obviously.
and because it helps me focus. So I listen to them while I work. And here's the thing. I am ashamed of it. So I always delete my history every time I watch them because I don't want it to be in my algorithm. I don't want recommendations. YouTube Premium? I don't pay for YouTube Premium.
That's crazy that you're watching ASMR videos and listening to ads. It's just get the new Domino's $5.99 breadsticks.
Suck a lot. It does suck a lot. Here's the deal. A lot of them.
The kids don't care about the cost.
A lot of them won't run mid-rolls. They only run pre-rolls because of that very reason. But some of them do run mid-rolls, and when they do, oh my gosh, it's the worst.
It's so loud. Yeah.
Hit you like a freaking bullet.
Sure.
But yeah, it honestly, it really helps with focus.
You watch them on the TILLN account? Because sometimes I've seen those pop up.
No, I've never watched
Yeah, you accidentally are still logged into the TILLN account and you watch your little ASMR.
No, that wouldn't be me because I delete the history because I don't want it messing up my algorithm and I'm ashamed. They're just so weird. I don't know why they have to be so weird. Like, why can't you just make the sounds and shut up? Like... But anyways, about advertising.
Why can't you just make the sounds and shut up? So Tim, just to be clear.
Yeah.
Your Covenant Eyes report each week is just
yeah.
Is there a specific creator? Do you
No.
What do you search when you're looking at ASMR videos? What do you search?
I literally just search ASMR, and then I just scroll through until there's one that's like, oh, that's probably fine, and then
I want you to know, and I think this is important, that I think less of you now. I think it's important for you to know that I do think less of you right now.
Hey, that's fine. Honestly, I'm proud of who I am.
Embarrassed?
I am embarrassed.
And I'm telling you, you should be.
It helps me focus. It helps me focus.
There's
and it makes the top of my head feel nice.
Who watches this podcast and then removes it from their watch history. And they go,
I can't have this in my algorithm.
Can know that I watch this.
It's less about people knowing. It's more about I don't want it cluttering my algorithm.
Yeah.
Because I don't want those recommendations. I just want while I'm working for it to be in the background.
But it's I think if you watch it, even if you remove it from your watch history, it still affects your...
No, it doesn't. If it's not in your watch history, it doesn't affect your algorithm.
I don't think that's true.
Because if that was true, then I would be getting recommendations for it.
Okay.
Because I like at least once a day I have it on the background while I'm working. It's just it's in the background.
Wow.
It's like music. It's the same thing as music. Don't be so weird about this.
No, I'm not.
Look, if I was smoking crack cocaine, would you have such a problem with it?
No, I'd actually prefer that. There's treatment systems and communities for support. They haven't made ASMR illegal yet, so I can't throw the book at you right now.
Okay, whatever. When I was in New York, speaking about advertisements,
sure.
When I was in New York, this was so weird. I'm curious if this happens to people who live there. If you live like in Manhattan, I don't know how many of our followers live in Manhattan, but if you live in Manhattan, I'm genuinely curious because I'm not exaggerating. The second we got there, 100% of my ads
ASMR. I'm walking and Times Square is changing to ASMR YouTube videos. And I'm like, is this because my phone
is this because my phone is in
on the subway? Not even like a screen, like the hard advertisement.
Yeah,
like it's printed out.
It's printed out.
ASMR. And I'm like, I can't even scan the QR code for ASMR. What?
Yeah, there's actually a dude on the subway doing
There's a
ASMR.
call this number for ASMR.
No, every single advertisement was some, oh my gosh.
Hello. Thank you for calling 1-800-ASMR.
All right, I'm over this bit. Anyways, Every single ad. Every single ad.
Isn't part of the allure, the draw of ASMR that it's like a person that you find attractive doing it? Is that what's part of it, or is it just?
I mean, maybe for some people.
I just think that whenever I was looking
one of the
at
ones
this
that
to be like, it seemed like there's a lot of like pretty Twitch streamer girls.
Yeah, I mean, there definitely is that. But one of the ones that I watch the most is a dude who just reads science textbooks. He just reads the science textbook. And I'm like, I kind of like this. Like, I like learn a little bit about science, and it helps me focus.
Me and Alex are looking at each other right now, like, we don't got to put this episode out. You know what I'm saying? So
it's not a weird thing, okay? It's not a weird thing.
What were all your ads in New York for? Sea monkeys?
No, they were just like tourist traps in New York, and I'm curious if that's something that happens.
What do you mean?
Because it just
traps? Like on Facebook, on like Instagram?
Like, yeah, on Instagram. It was like, go to the top of the Empire State Building or do this experience, like this tour. Yeah. And I'm like, I wonder if this happens.
So you enabled it? You allowed to track your location and stuff?
I guess.
Oh yeah, I said no to all that stuff.
I couldn't care less, but
I very much care.
I was surprised at how immediately, and I'm not exaggerating when I say I did not get a single ad the entire time I was there that wasn't some sort of tourist attraction in the city.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, like,
but I'm curious if that happens if you're a local.
And Yelp are no, because like it's the same thing. You don't get Kansas City tourist traps.
Yeah, but we don't have as many. Like, it's not a tourist town.
Sure, but you get ads because it knows that you live here.
I can't get over the fact that we spent like 20 minutes on how weird it is that I watch ASMR. And it's not weird. It's normal, okay? Get out. Dude, it's normal. I just delete it every time
Kansas City. I don't know what ASMR stands for.
Yeah, it's like auditory
stimulation meta response.
Yeah, I don't know, something like that.
Okay.
Anyways, let's talk about this guy. So
please do, Tim.
So he did the sea monkeys.
Hey, we have a lot to get to if you could hurry up.
He did the sea monkeys, and it was like
he advertised to kids.
It kind of got this perception pretty quickly where it was like, you're advertising it as these things.
Right.
But they're these things.
Okay.
And so kids would get them and they'd be like, what the frick are these things?
Quit showing this picture. Show this picture next to something else, like the other picture you had with the ship. So people can see
this one?
That's what they looked like. Yeah.
And so, and even this is kind of zoomed in.
You're just showing it with a black background, and it's kind of like we don't get a visual of.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, let me see if I can get like a further backed up sea monkey view, because they really were like, even that's kind of zoomed in. They look like specks. They look like just floating specks in the water. And that picture was, he hired a like comic book artist to do the comic book.
Yeah. It's an advertisement.
Yeah, they have like, I mean,
they didn't have laws that were like,
I guess you can see it in this. Like, that thing is that almost magnifying glass thing in the bottom right.
Yeah.
That's an actual magnifying glass, so you can see them closer because they're so little.
Right.
And so he hired the comic book creator to create these characters of what the sea monkeys are.
Sure.
And the kids once kids saw these, they expected these. They expected, they can dance, they can play baseball, they can do all these tricks, when they couldn't. And so it became...
Because they were dumb? Because kids were stupid?
I mean, I guess that's one way to say it.
They pour it in and they go, what do you mean they can't play baseball? And you know what sucks? Is that all those kids are in their freaking 70s now, and they're still voting. You freaking morons. I put a little pack in this water and it's not playing baseball. You've been an idiot since the beginning.
Hey, thanks for checking out this episode. Wanted to let you know real quick, we have an email list, and it's not like hey, we're going to send you our merch and new episodes all the time. We actually give you updates on these stories as we find out about them. So a lot of our episodes we've done a couple years ago now have updates, or the person the topic was about passed away or was caught by the police, or whatever updates we can find on episodes that we've done. We want to let you know about it so that our episodes just aren't, out there out of date. It's a really fun way to keep learning new information. And then every once in a while, we let you know about new events coming up or new episodes. And it's just a way to help us keep spreading this show. Join that email list. You can text TILLN to 66866, or there's a link in the description of this episode, or you can just go to TILLN.com. It's very easy to join this email list. It's everywhere. It's actually really hard to not join it. So...
That's hilarious. They did, because of this, they did end up getting in like some legal hot water.
Yeah, well, I mean, there was no rules back then to be like, asterisk, not actual size.
Yeah.
They clearly don't look like
because there
cartoon
was
characters.
No government regulation about what businesses could do.
And we're going back to it, baby.
Allowed to scam
I
your
can't
children.
wait.
Yeah. I honestly... Let's start scamming kids. Apparently, it's legal now.
I have said on this podcast many a times, we should start scamming.
Well, we should start scamming kids. It's easier to scam kids.
True.
Because with this, it said it was just cut this thing out.
You're a crazy
grab
person.
$1.25 from your parents'
I freaking
wallet
love it.
and just mail it. Like your parents didn't even have to be involved with this grift.
Yeah.
And so the kids would get it. They get upset. And so
what was the worst that could happen? You're going to spill the water and sea monkeys are all over your house,
Can you imagine coming home? You come home from your job in the coal mines. I don't know what people did for work.
You clearly don't know what they did. Yeah, that's great. It's great. It's great. It's great.
You come back from building the Model T.
Yeah.
And your kid is like, look what I got.
The 40s and 50s.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You came back
from the war.
You came back from building JFK's spaceship. And no, this isn't the 40s and 50s. This is like the 60s and 70s now.
Your timeline's all over the place, for sure.
Your timeline's all over the place. It's 60s and 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s.
Yeah.
They're still for sale.
Okay.
But 80s were the heyday. Anyways, and so you come home, your kid, your little snot-nosed brat, is like, look, I got a new pet. And you're like, where did you find this? And it's this cup full of mud, basically mud. That's what it looks like, floating mud specks. Mm-hmm. But anyways, it was a grift. The eggs, it was all a trick. It was all a trick is the point I'm trying to illustrate.
Yeah.
And so you've
done it pretty successfully.
He got very rich off this thing.
Yeah.
Made millions of dollars and said, what else can I grift? What else can I grift with? And so he invented the invisible goldfish.
That's crazy.
Same thing. You'd mail off for the invisible goldfish, and it came with a little tiny goldfish bowl, and it came with some fish food. And it said, put your water in it, and then give it fish food. You got to feed it. You got to make sure you feed it. And the thing that was pretty interesting about this is like, you got to keep getting fish food. You got to keep buying your fish food for your invisible goldfish, or it's going to die. And so he made repeat customers out of this one.
Yeah. I'm like in shock at that. We were born in the wrong time.
I know, it would have been so. That's regulation. You can't just lie to kids anymore. You can't just lie to kids anymore.
Oh,
he also
could have made so much money just freaking lying to people, dude.
He also had crazy crabs, were just hermit crabs. He just sold hermit crabs. He mailed them. He mailed these hermit crabs to kids.
Yeah, just open a box of dead hermit crabs.
He also had what he called the Amazing Hair Rising Monsters, which was like a card, and he printed a monster on it, and he basically said like, you pour some water on it and it was going to grow hair.
He really loved the water.
Yeah, it was just grass. He had like some grass seeds in the card and you would pour water on it and it would grow grass out of it. And so it was kind of like a chia pet, like a really early chia pet.
Yeah.
He also had, honestly, maybe his best idea. X-ray specs. And I'm going to be honest, the advertisements for this is an actual package of them. They did not even mince words with what their intent was here. Isn't that nuts?
That is bonkers.
I was talking to Alex about this before, and it's crazy how much they just didn't even try to hide the point of this. If you're listening, it's a dude wearing X-ray specs doing exactly what you think. It's a pair
of glasses, and the whole branding of it is you can look at women and see what's under their dress.
Yep. That's crazy. It does say, though, it says see bones through the skin, and then it also says see-through clothing. So that's a crazy thing to advertise, though. It's like you can see your bones.
Quit looking at me, you pig. I'm looking at your bones. That's crazy.
That is nuts.
How do you sell that, though? It obviously doesn't work.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing, is none of the things he sold really did anything. They were all just gimmicks. It was all just gimmicks. That obviously didn't work. He also had like hypno glasses.
I'm looking at your bones. All right.
All right. Stop saying that.
Keep doing it, sir. Who cares?
I don't care what you're doing.
Just don't talk to me anymore.
And then in a weird like shift from character, he's like, I'm gonna make something for adults. And so he makes this. Which is called the Kyoga, which is a baton, and at the tip of the baton, there's a taser. And so you hit people and it electrocutes them. Essentially, yeah. But it's a baton, so it's like telescopic. Okay. And so you can... This has since been outlawed. He also... he got arrested in LaGuardia.
It says you don't need a gun. What year is this?
I don't know. Judging by this ad, I would say like early 70s.
I'd say early 60s.
It could be. And it's marketed towards, I don't know if you can read this from here, but it's marketed towards people who can't get a gun. Like if you legally can't acquire a gun, he said, why don't you get this electric baton? So if for some reason you're not allowed to buy firearms anymore, I'll sell you.
You can get without a license.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's just a gun now.
And so, yeah, he got arrested in LaGuardia for trying to take it on a flight. LaGuardia.
Yeah.
Why do they make that so hard to say? So he got arrested for trying to take that on the flight in the 90s. And so they arrested him. I don't know what they processed him. And they ended up releasing him because they're like, well, we don't know, technically speaking, like
this isn't technically banned.
Yeah, they were like, we don't have a category for this, so it's technically not illegal, but like we don't want you to bring this, so you can't. But there's not a law, so we can't like charge you with anything for possession.
That's how I feel about it. It's not illegal for you to watch ASMR. I don't want you to, but I can't legally yet.
Yeah, I would kick you off a flight if you did it, but like I can't throw you in jail for it. So that's exactly what happened to him. He got kicked off his flight. And then in the 90s, in 92, this is my favorite part of the story. In 92.
I feel like we're going to take an alien turn right here, aren't we?
Oh, I wish. No, in 92, he was approached by, I don't know, some TV producer. And they produced the show, The Amazing Live Sea Monkeys. And the concept of the show was a mad scientist had a grow ray and accidentally grew sea monkeys to life size. Okay. And they like escaped from their little pen because obviously they were too big. Yeah. And then it was the life of these sea monkeys as human size sea monkeys. My favorite part about this is see if you can guess who the professor is at the top of this picture. These are the sea monkeys. So obviously I think you can guess which ones are the 92? Monkeys. Yeah, this is 1992. I think you can guess who the sea monkeys are. They're the ones that look like crazy things. But then the guy in the top middle, the professor, you know him. Like you don't know him personally. But you know who he is.
All right, hold on. Eddie Murphy. Is it Alec Baldwin?
Nope.
Wait, you're going to say it and I'm going to go, yeah.
Honestly, looking at this picture, I cannot see it. Okay, like it doesn't look like him. It's Howie Mandel. And so he played this professor.
I can't see that at all.
I can't see that one bit. But he played this professor who turned these sea monkeys into life-size monsters.
Okay.
This show ran for 11 episodes and got canceled. Apparently, it wasn't very good, and it's really
obviously.
It's also apparently really hard to find any evidence that it ever existed. Like there's images.
Yeah,
and
that's
stuff.
how he's doing. Yeah. He got that
Get
AGT
rid
money,
of
and he was
this.
like, "We gotta get rid of that.
We gotta get
for
rid of that."
Sure.
Yeah, but it's like not online. It's like lost. It's considered lost media. So if you can find it and you can see it, I want to see it. Send me a VHS.
Well, it's because people had the VHS and they poured water on it because they thought that's what they were supposed to do. It was like stupid people who bought it. They were like, "Oh, we're dumb."
Yeah.
You know?
And so it's probably no surprise to you, judging by the X-ray specs, that he ended up marrying an adult film star. And then after he passed away, he left his home to her. And so she had to drive home every day to this gate.
Okay. Where is this?
I don't know where they ended up settling at this stage of their life. I do know that they lived in Manhattan for a very long time. This clearly is not Manhattan.
Yeah.
So
my wife would love this gate, by the way. If we had that, yeah, she'd be like, "Oh my gosh, it gives this place so much character." You know, where it's just like not a normal. Anyway.
But she ended up selling like a license to another toy company to continue selling sea monkeys after his death.
Sure.
And
smart businesswoman.
And wasn't clear on the terms of the agreement.
Bad businesswoman.
And long story short, ended up coming back to bite her. And towards the end of the 2000s, she ended up in a situation where the house that they lived in was this big, massive house. She couldn't afford to pay for the heat in the home. And so she had like walled herself into like 2 of the bedrooms because I guess they were the warmest rooms or something. And she like lived in her fur coat. She wore these fur coats around the house and like basically lived in like kind of poverty. Like she still had the giant house, but she couldn't heat it and she couldn't really afford her life anymore.
Yeah.
And I don't know exactly what that means. Like, I don't know if that means like she couldn't afford to eat or she just couldn't afford the lifestyle she used to have. It's not totally clear, but she didn't have a great end of her life because of that.
Sure.
That licensing deal. So one last small thing we probably need to...
This episode really was going nowhere then, huh?
No, it was all about the sea monkeys.
Okay. All right.
Harold,
they're not all winners. Where's the other episode I said that? There's another episode I've said that before where I go, this was kind of weird, huh? Tim just sat over here and was like, I got to give you a gift. And I like ASMR. Ooh. It was about the sea monkeys. Oh, okay. I thought we were building up to like something and you were like, his wife died alone. Like, okay.
No, the sea monkeys, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyways, the New York Times wrote about him. The Washington Post wrote about him. Quote, he was born as Harold Nathan Braunhut, a Jew. That's what they wrote. Because he, in the 50s, added Von to his name because he was ashamed of his heritage. And so
his Jewish heritage?
Yeah. So he wanted he wanted to sound more German. And he took his
problematic, huh?
He took his earnings from all of the sea monkey fame. He took those millions and he poured them into white supremacy groups.
Okay.
And
so the whole episode is about the guy who invented the sea monkeys was kind of a grifter. Yeah. And at the very end, you're just like, by the way, he was a piece of crap the whole time.
Surprise, he actually sucked.
He was a Nazi the whole time.
Surprise, the guy who made this actually sucked. Yeah. He was. And I think it just goes to show.
Yeah.
That the rich, they always end up sucking.
Yeah.
It's the alt-right. It's the alt-right pipeline, I guess. I was going to try to come up with some sea monkey name for it, but
nope.
No. Yeah, he did end up somehow becoming a white supremacist and funding him through the sea monkey thing, which is very strange. And his parents were like, yeah, he got disowned by his family for that, obviously.
Because in the 50s, he was like, actually, I side with the guys who did this to us.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, okay.
They're like, yeah, that's weird, actually.
And then the rest of his life, he's like, my parents won't talk to me. You idiot.
Yeah, they shouldn't. They shouldn't talk to you.
Oh, our son, he takes advantage of children. He sells them hopes and dreams, and he just capitalizes on that.
Yeah.
And then when did he marry his wife?
An electric baton, actually, which is kind of cool. It doesn't say the date on here. It just says her name. So yeah, I don't know when they got married. But yeah, so I mean, some rough ideas, a lot of grifts in his day.
But that's Martin Van Burenhut.
That's not Martin. Harold
Van Buren. I'm thinking of Martin Van Buren.
Van Braunhut. Harold Von Braunhut. Harold Von Braunhut. Sucky guy.
Fiddle off.
Hey, thanks for watching this episode. If you liked it, you might like Edward Bernays. He was another advertising guy, really kind of the founder of PR and advertising and grifting you and tricking your brain into thinking things. It's rough. It's great, but you might like him. So check that episode out. And if you like this episode, you might like our next episode. And you can watch that right now by becoming a supporter on Patreon. You can do that at WeSellDeadPeople.com. Our supporters help this show happen. They also get a lot of great perks. They get access to our Discord. They get access to episodes a week early without ads and a lot of other great stuff. We appreciate our supporters. They make this show possible. This is an evergreen podcast. You can find out more about them at evergreenpodcasts.com. And we'll see you next week for another episode of TILLN Podcast.